welcome to Ride Along Live for today. Yeah, listen guys, before I start, I want everybody to do this for me. I want everybody as you come in, I want you to just hit that share button and put it on your page. Put this program in a group because it is that important. Now, let us break that stigma that say that the only time people could show up to a live is if there's something associated with some kind of bacchanal, right? Let us change that, no man, because today we're going to be talking about a very, 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 very important subject, and a subject that is plaguing, and we've been seeing it manifesting itself more so recently, right? This has been plaguing our population. And when I say our population, I'm not only referring to the people in Grenada. I'm not only referring to the people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in Trinidad, in St. Lucia, in Barbados, and other Caribbean islands, Jamaica. It has been plaguing our lives all over. I'm talking about depression, I'm talking about stress, I'm talking about suicide. Just a few weeks ago, under a week ago, I should say, we had reports of an alleged suicide, 2 alleged suicide by females. To date in Grenada, there have been 4 men who died by suicide. So we have 2 women and 4 men who died by suicide on the island. And some people have a perception of mental illness. They feel that people who have mental illness are people that you see crazy on the street. People that you see walking around and they look as if they're mad, they belong in the crazy house, as they call it. But no. Today we have 2, not 1, 2 licensed. First, we have Shelly-Ann Mason-Lewis, who is a licensed counseling psychologist, right? And we also have a licensed clinical community psychologist, Nicole Brenda Lee Johnson James. She liked her name so much, she took all of the names. But yes, we have licensed psychologists to help us understand about depression, about stress, and about dealing with suicidal thoughts. And I must say that if there is any other program that you guys feel the need or see the need to share and like and invite, it would be this one. It would be this one, right? So let's do it right now, guys. Let's do it right now, guys. Let's do it right now, guys. In fact, I'm going to do it a few times on my page. And when you share, I want you guys to say, I share. And when you share it, I want you to say, I share. Wendy, thank you so much. Welcome. I want to see how much people go share this. I want to see how much people go share this. Because I tell all you, the last time on a vlog that I did, people don't like good things. People don't like good news. People don't like good information. And the first thing that they would say, oh, Ride Along is always this. Ride Along is always that. But when the information is very, very necessary, a lot of people shy away from it. But as soon as they see something that they deem, that kind of saucy, they want to jump on and go and create status. This is the program I want all you to share. Thank you so much, Margaret. Thank you for sharing. Rochelle, thank you so much. This is the program that you have to share. If you never share a program before, this is the one you have to share. Now, let me do it as well. Share it on this page. I share it on all my page. I'm sharing it on every page that I have because it is that important. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Elma. Thank you so much. Show Diva, thank you so much. Jennifer Myers, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Yeah, Douglas. Yeah. Doug, yes, exactly. Doug know what I'm talking about. All right, guys. So help me welcome to our platform for the very first time. They were definitely in demand, but they decided to donate their time with us here today to help us understand. They're here today in a personal capacity, First, let's welcome licensed clinical and community psychologist Nicole Brenda Lee Johnson James. Nicole, how are you?
I am doing well in spirit and in body. Thanks for asking.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And of course, as I said earlier, licensed clinical and community psychologist, a licensed counseling psychologist attached to the Grand Anse Fit for Life service. Again, in a personal capacity. Shelly Ann Mason Lewis, how are you?
Hi, I'm all right. I'm
Good.
well, thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for donating your time to help
Yeah.
us understand this problem that we're having throughout the Caribbean region. Let's start with you, Nicole. Nicole, you have so much names. We can't figure out which one to call you.
And I like all of them, but you can call me Nicole.
Nicole. Okay,
That's
Nicole.
fine. Yeah.
Nicole. You are a licensed clinical and community psychologist. What is the job of a licensed clinical and community psychologist?
A few things. We do assessments on adults, children, and we engage a lot in what is referred to as talk therapy. So we do the one-on-one, the individual therapy sessions, as well as group sessions and couples therapy.
Oh, interesting, interesting. And I have to get a name. I have to get a name. Brenda. Oh, Shelly Ann. Sorry, Shelly Ann Lewis. I had to get hip to you
Let's
guys.
call me Shelly. Shelly is
Shelly,
okay.
Shelly, no
Shelly.
problem. So Shelly, tell us about what's the job of a licensed counseling psychologist.
Well, basically to provide, it's more or less talk therapy, providing a safe space where persons can share and express whatever they're going through, using a number of therapeutic practices. We engage individuals, couples, family, right? We normally do assessments, but I'm not specialized in it as yet. Normally we'll refer to Nicole because she has all the instruments.
Some of the instruments.
All right, some of the instruments,
Yeah.
right? But yes, but the whole purpose is providing mental health support to anyone in need of it, and we are trained and skilled in those fields and in that capacity.
And licensed in those fields.
And licensed with
Yes. We
with the
have to express
Grenada
that.
Allied Health Authority. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Guys,
That part is necessary.
that part is very necessary to see.
Yeah.
Let's start with mental health, right? How you define, from a clinical psychologist perspective, how you define mental health?
Okay, so as a trained teacher as well, we've been trained to give what the thing is and what it's not, right?
Right. Yes.
Right. So I'm going to say, I'll start with both. The WHO, the World Health Organization, it defines mental health as a state of well-being, right? That enables people to cope with the stresses of life and realize their abilities to learn well, to work well, and to contribute to their communities. What is mental health? Again, in more simpler terms, it's a part of everybody's life. It's something that we need to look after. And you can see I'm wearing my t-shirt,
Yes.
self-care. I hold myself in warm regard. And when
Yes.
we're talking about mental health, that's what we need to do. It's a personal responsibility, right? It's real, yet it's complex. It is important, but the state of it, it's something that can change as well. What it is not, mental health, Junior, is not a sign of weakness, right? It is not all in your head. When somebody is sharing that they're having these thoughts and, oh, it's all in your head, right? And we can get into more of people's worldview about all of that, right? It's not always a negative thing. And listening audience, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Mental health has a lot to do with our brain and the brain functions, right? Now, if you feel a sharp pain in your heart, If I feel a seed in my breast, tomorrow morning I run into the doctor,
Right.
right? So the brain is part of the body and it's part of the health. So whenever something is going awry and we realize I'm not functioning, my mental well-being is interfered with, it's nothing to be ashamed of, and you can reach out for help.
Right. So it's
Yes.
safe to say that it's an illness, but you just can't see. Like if somebody get a cut on the hand, you could physically see, yeah, that person have a cut and they're bleeding. You could see it. But if somebody have suffering from some sort of mental illness, they might be looking just fine, laughing, dancing, jolly, everything, the life of the party,
That's
but
right. There you
they're
go.
going through it. Right.
Yes.
Shelly Ann, is there any specific signs in particular that someone could identify, could look at someone and say, that person might be going through some sort of mental illness?
Okay. Well, there are signs. If you could permit me to I wanted to add a point to my colleague Nicole, in what she said there. In terms of mental health, additionally, mental health also focuses how you think, how you regulate your feelings, and how you behave, right? And all these three factors, how you think, how you feel, and your actions, how you behave, right? If they are not in a stable or balanced state, right, it could contribute to you having a mental illness. So it's basically how you're able to cope with the challenges of life. So if you get a difficulty, what thoughts go through your mind? What feelings start to come up within you? How you start to behave, right? And then it is okay when you're not okay, right? You have moments when you don't feel okay, you feel a little low, you feel sad, you might experience a loss or a grief, right? But when it starts to escalate, when the feelings of sadness goes for too long and it starts to affect how you think, the negative thoughts get a lot. Your negative feelings get a lot and more negative, and you start to behave in different ways where you start to isolate. Now I'll come into the signs. You start to isolate yourself. Your appetite is affected. It starts to affect your daily living and how you engage your family and your friends, right? You can't sleep, yes, or you just want to stay away from everyone. It starts to affect how you function. It affects your job. If you don't want to go to work, it affects how you engage with family. Those are indicators and signs, and it's going for more than 2 weeks, 7 days. If you find it's going for too long, then you know your mental health is now being affected in a negative way, and you're showing sign of a mental illness. It could be depression, it could be anxiety, and this is where you start to have to pay attention to yourself and get help.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay. I know you're also a mother, and we understand that. So from time to time, you have to take that break and completely understand, and I know the audience would understand that as well. But to her point, Nicole, everybody gets upset at some point in time, right?
Right.
Something upset me, and I fret and I vex. But at what point does it cross over to depression? That I know that I'm depressed, and I might be vexed for 2 days. I really vex.
Right. Right. So Junior and Shelley gave some of them. There must be a period. These things have to be happening for a period of time, a period of 2 weeks,
Right.
right? So it's like isolation when we're talking about depression. The activities that the individual once enjoyed, they no longer enjoy
Right.
it, right? So they're less and less in a social setting. But I want to hasten to add here that when we think about mental illness or depression, depression is not always low mood. So the person may not always isolate and they may not always be down, right? The person could also be up and about. And as you correctly said earlier on, the life of the party. And this is why sometimes you hear people make statements like, but Lord, Friday night I saw her, Friday night she was here, or he was there, or whatever else it is, right? There are things that we need to look at. So sort of like I started to talk about going into suicide, but I guess we'll get there. Okay, so there is the loss of interest and all of the things that Shirley stated earlier on, but over a period of time, like a period of 2 weeks. Again, feelings of sadness, depression is different from sadness or grief or bereavement, right? Of course, Junior, I love my husband dearly. And if my husband dies, I mean, oh my God, I'll be a
Right.
mess. That does not necessarily mean that I have depression.
Uh-huh.
Are you following? It means that I'm sad. I am grieving the loss of my
Right.
husband. Right? So these are the things that make some of the difference in terms of, and then of course, depression, you have to be clinically diagnosed.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Right? A lot of people Google symptoms and they just decide, I have this or I have that. And when we're talking mental health and mental illness, it is on a continuum, right? We start off with mild anxiety. Junior, all of us have some level of anxiety. Before we came on the show, we were a bit anxious, okay, this, that, the other, whatever considerations. When you were trying to reach us and you maybe you weren't finding us or whatever, like, oh my God, the time is almost up. What am I going to do for the show, right? So there is normal.
Every time.
Right. So there is that measure of anxiety, but we're not dysfunctional. We could function still, right? And that measure of anxiety is healthy because it motivates us to do stuff, to take risks, to accomplish. And then the anxiety now could move from that to severe. Well, before severe, we go up to moderate, acute, and then we go up to severe anxiety, where now I'm so worried and I'm overthinking all the time and I'm anxious about everything. And if I do not get the help that I need, this could go on for a period of time, a month, 3 months, whatever it is, in that state of and worry. And then it could start to lead now to mild depression. And we start to go up to, again, the acute and the, right? So it's on a continuum, like is a ruler?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can use that.
So we start on one end, and if it's left untreated, we end up, to all the schizophrenia and the things that people.
And just to quickly add to that,
Yes.
depression also has two faces. Because when some persons think about depression, they're thinking they'll see persons dressed in black and they just low, sad, and pessimistic all the time. On the flip side of depression, like they call it high functioning depression, you could be the life of the party, happy, yes, always engaging, having fun and so forth. But within yourself, remember, the fun side is just the face. We all have faces there. But what is happening under the face, under the surface? There's a lot of emotional pain, unresolved traumas that could be there that is bothering the person, that causes them to feel low, a lot of self-loathing, a lot of negative thoughts. But they don't want persons to see that, so they project an image as everything is together. Hence, it's important for all of us to pay attention to our loved ones and check in and give a lot of encouraging support, and don't just take what they project to you, even if it's positive energy, for granted. Still check in and see, hey, you okay?
Could somebody with depression, could they self-diagnose? Like, be like, you know what? I have depression. I'm depressed. Or does someone have to diagnose them and encourage them to see a licensed clinical psychologist or counseling psychologist like yourselves?
Junior, I would warn against self-diagnosing, right? This should not be encouraged at all. I mean, some people feel certain things, right? Our bodies keep the score. So I'm feeling different, and I have been feeling different. So somebody may Google something, right? And even Uncle Google would say to you, when they list the symptoms, this is just for information, but you still have to check your MD, your general practitioner,
Yes.
whatever. So to be diagnosed with any mental illness, it would take a medical doctor, a psychiatrist, a psychologist who is sufficiently trained, and you're not just watching the person and make a diagnosis. There are screens that are used, there are tests that are conducted, right? And the results would show that the person's, as we would say clinically, the person's presentation, right? The symptoms, the things that they're showing up with, right? So we do not want to self-diagnose, because a downside of self-diagnosing and diagnosis period, as I like to say to my clients, we don't label people, we label jars, right? Like, your sugar jar, your
Yeah.
jam,
Yeah.
and your flour, we label jars, right? Because one of the things with self-diagnosing is that you may you will, or you can misdiagnose yourself. And there you are living with the thought that I am this and I am that, but you're not.
Yes. And hence is the importance of paying attention to yourself. Self-care is very important. We have to know our limitations. We have to pay attention to, wait, I realize I'm not exercising as much as I should, or I'm not eating as healthy. I find I'm feeling like I just don't feel like doing what I used to do, what I enjoy anymore. Why am I feeling like this? Just as you check a medical doctor when you see the first sign of your nose running, you find you have headaches, you find you have pain, and whatever, you go to the doctor to make sure everything is in the right place. It's always good when you start to show little symptoms and signs of depression to get a check-in, even with the doctor. Let the doctor rule out certain of the physical symptoms and then refer, hey, you might need to speak to a therapist or a counselor or so forth to process what is happening with you mentally.
Yeah, yeah. Guys, again, we're here with two female well, of course, we have a clinical psychologist, clinical community psychologist, Nicole Brenda Lee Johnson James, and of course, clinical licensed counseling psychologist, Shelly Ann M. Lewis, right? And it is nice that two female doing this, licensed, and it's because I personally, if I were to be diagnosed, I would probably like to sit with a female psychologist. I just feel like I could talk to you guys more. For some reason, just me. So it's good that we have the option that we could talk with. You guys are available in Grenada and providing the services. It's awesome. I want to talk about some of the stigma associated with mental health. Who want to jump at it?
So before we talk about stigma, right? And I think it's a contributing factor to all of this mental health thing. Different ones of us, Junior, we have different worldviews about mental health and mental illnesses, right? Some of us, some people see it as look through the lens of a spiritual lens. So a person may be presenting with some of the symptoms that we have spoken about before, and then you would hear the person saying, okay, the person has demons, they're demon possessed. So they're not seeing it as something to get help for the person to get checked out. And the demon possession, that might be so, but we're not here to talk about a spiritual something. We're talking mental health, right? So imagine when somebody sees it as a spiritual something, they will not address it as a mental health issue. Then there are those who see it in terms of, how you live. So you're being judged because you do so much wrong before you're paying for your deeds, like you could say locally, right? And then there are those who believe that it's a medical issue. And then there are those who believe that it's a biological issue, right? So the biological, some families, some people they have a history of mental illness, and this is a risk factor because you're more predisposed, as we would say, to having a mental illness, right? So then it depends on how we see it. The stigma would get along. In terms of our fundamental understanding and experience with mental illness in Grenada, Junior, we know that growing up in Grenada, well, if I speak for myself and so we know all the word we heard about is the person
Yes.
crazy. And this is a word we avoid using professionally. So the person crazy, already there is a stigma. And as children growing up, we would see this person now strip himself or herself, running in the streets naked and all of these sorts of things. And in some cases, some might be violent. But a person with a mental illness may only be violent if they are in an active phase of psychosis, right? Because people, and then these somebody who's diagnosed by a psychiatrist as having schizophrenia, they would be on medication and all these sorts of things, right? So when we have these worldviews about it, okay, I don't want people to know that about me, because if they know that about me, they will call me crazy. I will be labeled. For some people, they have a mental break. It might just be once that may impact their work. Junior, you know how we are as a people in Grenada. Something happens to you and it's like, look the boy, Junior, he that does
Yeah.
be crazy. It might just be once that you've had that. And so people sort of pull back because they don't want people to talk about them in that
Right.
way. Or sometimes you're feeling and you're thinking all the things that you're thinking, the hallucinations, the negative thoughts, and you may venture out and it takes a lot of courage, Junior, to share with somebody. And I come in and say, Junior, well, I find a feeling, and I'm saying, and these voices in my head, that's in your head, man. That's in your head. Pray about it. You ain't praying enough. Why forget that now? Go and get something to do. So it's a lot of things, and I can give Shirley the opportunity to add some.
Yes, it's a lot. You see, people fear what they don't know, yes, or what they don't understand. So it's really good that you have this platform, Junior, where you sensitize person to be aware that, mental health concerns or mental illnesses, yes, it's not the end of the individual. There is help. There is always help available to treat with whatever you're dealing with presently, right? And so raising awareness, sensitizing persons that my name is Shelly Lewis, yes, and I have anxiety. It's not like, oh, I'm anxiety. I'm not anxiety, right? I experience anxiety symptoms, right? You are not the illness. You're still the individual that is going through a difficult phase at the moment, at present, where you need additional support. So we have to change the narrative and start the conversation with everyone that is okay. Everyone has trouble. We have issues. We have childhood traumas to resolve, persons could experience things like child sexual abuse when they were a child, and they keep it inside and they didn't get help in their childhood, and it starts to manifest itself as they become adults, right? Then there's also addictions. Yeah, we all have something that we're addicted to. It could be food, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs, marijuana. And when you get an addiction according to World Health Organization is a disease, right? That is, it can be treated with the right help and therapeutic interventions, right? We just need to widen that conversation and educate the people that you are not your illness. You're going through a difficult time. We all will experience low moments when we feel sad. I feel sad sometimes and I need to talk to someone. If I say, oh gosh, I'm processing something, I will call Nicole and say, hey, Nicole, hear me out. And help me process these emotions. You just need an impartial, objective, non-judgmental listening ear, a safe space where you can talk out. Because we don't give advice, sir. Just want to put that out there. Counselors, psychologists, we do not give advice. So I'm going to use an illustration that might help explain what we do. Imagine persons who doing crochet and knitting, the wool all tangled up.
Yeah.
right? So imagine three different colors all tangled up. That's your thoughts. What we do, we help unravel those thoughts
Oh, I
and then
see.
you categorize them. Yes, and help persons bring some sort of connection and closure to whatever traumas or whatever suppressed emotional pain that they're going through, and bring resolve to it so that it helps them to move forward.
Right.
Yes, because you're stuck in that space, you're stuck in that hurt, you're stuck in that trauma of your childhood, and it's affecting your relationship with people. It's affecting your relationship with your spouse. It's affecting how you engage. Sometimes the same people we label as toxic are persons who live in their traumas and they don't know how to deal with
How to
it. So
deal
their
with it.
behaviors come across as toxic to you.
Right.
Yes, and the importance that we must be kind because we do not know what each other is dealing with. We do not know what sort of emotional pain. And a lot of people are hurt. It's hurt
But
people.
people,
And we
yeah.
are all wounded souls.
Yeah.
Yes?
But
And we, yes, go ahead.
Shelly,
Tell me.
some people would say, and someone who might come off as being upset or depressed or in that state of mind might say, but why you vex? Why you vex for? You have everything that you want. You have house, you have land, you have family, you have kids. Why you vex? Why you upset? Like, why you depressed? Is there anything that, I mean, I know from talking to people that depression is different than just being upset, right? How do you deal with it? How do you cope with it? How do a person cope with that depression and overcome that depression? What's the steps?
Okay. To answer the first part, right? It doesn't matter if you're rich and you have it all, or you're good looking, or you're ugly, whatever, what people perceive, what they see, persons judge happiness. Everybody have their own definition of what happiness really is,
Right.
right? But for me, my definition happiness is peace of mind.
Yes.
Yes, where you could go to bed and sleep
Yeah.
without worrying or holding anger or unforgiveness and holding on to the past and, oh, what she do to me, I won't forget her, I'll get back to her. It's just going to sleep at peace within yourself and with others, comfortable in your own space and in your own skin, right? And some of the ways to help, with dealing with depression and so forth, again, you have to take it requires a lot of self-awareness. You have to pay attention to yourself, right? And while you're paying attention to yourself, you start to implement a number of self-care tips that we normally share, with persons in need of help. Journal your thoughts. Do you know when you keep a lot of things in your head, it kind of ferment, and the issue could be really small, but when you just keep it to yourself, locked in your head, the thoughts just get bigger and start to evolve and mutate, and it get big in your mind, and you feel so overwhelmed, right? Because you have everything locked inside. What we encourage is you have to get it out. It's like a purge,
Yeah.
but it's an emotional and mental health purge, right? And you could journal, write down the things you're thinking about. Yeah, get it all out. You can start reflecting on the things that's going right in your space and not the things that's going wrong. So you could write a gratitude journal. What am I thankful for today? I reach home
Right.
safe. My children is home. I
Yeah.
have shelter. Simple thing. Wait, I lie down on a bed. Somebody could be on the ground in the outdoor, rain falling, thunder, lightning, but I'm inside, I'm dry, I
Yeah.
have a bed. I mean, things may not be perfect, but I'm not getting wet in the rain. So you start to look at the positive things that are happening in your space, yes, and start to express gratitude for it. So you could do a gratitude journal, right? While you're doing that, you start to exercise because exercise is really important. Remember, our mental health, if our mental health is not in a good space, our physical health will be in a terrible space. You could be a vegetarian, eating healthy, exercising, but if you have a lot of emotional unresolved issues in your head,
Yeah.
it will affect your whole body,
Yeah.
right? Because the body is synchronized, everything works. Mental health, physical health work hand in hand together for you have an overall positive well-being, right? So you drink lots of water,
You
right?
take a
Start to
shower
do
because some
things
people
that
who in that state they don't want to bathe.
when they start taking care of themselves, you take shower, you start taking care of you, clean your space, organize the space that you're living in. Yes. Hello. Fruits, vegetables, start to eat healthier, right? Cut
Ah.
down on the unhealthy habits that is causing you to feel further depressed. Because even our eating habits contribute to our lifestyle. The drinking of
Oh.
alcohol, caffeinated beverages, these things contribute to you feeling further low within yourself, further depressed, further down. So everything, it requires a total lifestyle change, and by being intentional, note, because to break habits take time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like I used to be addicted to ping pong, the chocolate covered
Ping
peanuts.
pong?
Ping pong, yeah,
Listen,
that
listen,
childhood
listen.
snack.
I'm still addicted to mango. Is there anything wrong with me? Mango from now
you
until
know
evening. Give me a chance, I suck 50 mango. Put me in Willis, I sucking all the mango all over you. The tree over so.
Yes. So, just be intentional, be temperate, but be intentional with taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
You will not get everything right overnight. Don't think about how long it will take. Think about that first step in taking care of you. And then you go up to the second step, one day at a time. If you can make it one day, then you check one moment, 1 minute, and you start to make certain milestones for you to bring you out of that state. Because we could talk all we want. Is if the individual want to change their situation and reach out for help, that help could be granted. Yes, just as a barber, the
Yes.
barber is there. He could fix you up, but he won't go and force you and bring you in. You have to want to get that haircut. So
Yes.
we, persons who need help, have to want that help and reach out for help, and the help is available.
Nice. Anything you want to add, Nicole?
Yes, and I'd like to add a couple of things, right? But I just wanted to go back a little bit, Junior, to say that each of us has an emotional capacity, right? So I just see a basket here, so maybe I could use it.
Yeah.
So this is my emotional cup,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of things are happening at the same time. Shelley mentioned earlier, and we spoke about it, like early childhood experiences, early trauma. So we have the trauma in the basket, right? Then we may have broken relationship in the basket. Then we have abandonment. Then we have work stresses and the mental illness that comes. So the basket starts to overflow, right? And when the basket starts to overflow, it comes out in the ways that people would judge us and say, she's so aggressive, she's so this, she's so that, she's not whatever, right? And then we start having these overwhelming feelings. So one of the things that we must do is to be able to identify our feelings. How have my feelings changed? And as we like to say, to sit with it. Because with feelings, and when we talk about mental issues like depression and anxiety, they are this mood disorders. So it has a lot to do with mood, right? So there is no getting over. And people say that all the time to just get over that, snap out of it. You can't get over it, you can't snap out of it. You have to walk through it. So what does walking through it look like? If you could have done it on your own, in most cases, you weren't going to be experiencing it anyways, not true? So you seek help from a professional, one of us, right? And there are a few of us around. Sometimes, I look at the shows and the comments under the live, and people say so many things that they do not know about. So we sit with our feelings and we're able to identify it. And one of the tools that I teach my clients is that you catch it, you catch the thought that you're having. Is it negative? Is it true? Where is it coming from? What supporting details do you have to say that this thought that that I am having is true? So you catch it, you check it. So is it factual? Is this true? Is the wall going to fall down if the relationship ends? If I lose my job, would everything be lost? Can I start over again? You check it, and then you change it.
Right.
And the change in it looks like you move from, you know how we are, what if, oh God, what if, and what if? What if just increases
Yes.
anxiety. So we try to reframe our speech and we try to move from what if to even
Right.
if. Does it make sense to you?
That sounds good.
So it
Yeah.
sounds good. It's tried, tested, and proven. So it's like, even if this happens, I can survive.
Right.
I'll get through the day. I'll be okay. Right? I am feeling this for now, but this can change. Right? And Junior, we have to practice self-compassion. And I am so proud of my t-shirt. I hold myself in warm regard.
Yes.
Self-compassion. You may have done something and you have to learn to forgive
Yes.
yourself. Or you have to learn to deal with it and move past it.
It sounds
So
like you are the logical, or you instill the logical part in some people's mind, on their brain, or they function. Like, for instance, something might happen to somebody, and they might think, or say they had a broken relationship, and they want to now take it to the extreme. I don't want to say the S word, but the big S word. The big S word.
But we don't have to be afraid of the S word. We need to
let's
talk about the S
suicide,
word, right?
Right?
Yes.
When does depression and thoughts of just things not going right, when does that lead to saying, you know what, I'm going to end it all? When does depression lead to suicide?
So depression does not always lead to suicide. Suicide can take place without depression. But depression is a risk factor for suicide. Does that make sense to you?
Say it again. One more time.
This depression does not always have to be present for suicide.
Right.
Right? But it is a risk factor for suicide. Right? Because you use the example of a broken relationship. Remember, suicide, as the people who die by it may think, it's like a loss of hope. It gets down to that point where people lose hope. Is like, what is there to live for again? In the case where there is depression in it, remember, it comes with a lot of thoughts and the constant bombardment of these thoughts. And sometimes people get exhausted. They have tried and they become tired. They have tried, okay? And they feel like there is no hope. I could take myself out of this. But suicide is preventable. It's a permanent solution to oftentimes outside of, when you have temporary problem,
yes.
Right? So if the person has, and then there are other like health issues, chronic health issues, that would be additional risk factors for suicide as well, right? So the person doesn't only, he or she is not only struggling with the thoughts and depression. So on that, again, the emotional cup, right? In addition to that, there may be an eating disorder. There may be chronic hypertension to deal with, chronic family issues. Then there may be the use of alcohol and other drugs on top of it. Okay? So all of these things, they contribute. Now, you were saying the S word, and we need to use the language. It's suicide. There is a difference in somebody having suicidal ideations or the thoughts. So it might just be whatever it is happened, and the person is thinking, this is just too much for me. I can't take this, right? It's a thought. But it doesn't go beyond the thought. Then when it comes to somebody being suicidal, no, that's where we have to become concerned. So with this being suicidal now, this person may generally have a plan and a time, a plan as to how they're doing it and the time. And so now we have to start to look at the things that we talked about earlier. What are some of the warning signs, right? So some people might be putting their ducks in a row, putting things in order. Some people, we talk about a lot of it already, the isolation and things like that. And some people may say it openly.
Yes.
I would recall, and we on the live may be able to recall on the news some time ago, several weeks ago or something, and somebody was saying this man was telling them he's tired and he's having his last drink with them or something like that, and they just
Right.
stopped.
Yes.
He was just saying that. So when it comes to suicide, we do not make any joke. We do not take it lightly at all. Right? So once somebody says that to you, there is no confidentiality in this situation. You alert the family member, hey, I was talking to Junior, I was talking to Shelly, and this is what he said. So maybe, and to use our local balance, throw an eye on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
You understand
Yes.
what I'm saying? And that's why when people come into therapy, we always begin the therapy by asking, have you ever had thoughts of hurting yourself or dying? Right? And the person may say no. You ask a little further. If they say yes, you ask, when was the last time? How long has that been happening? Do you have a plan? And if you do, how, you understand me, how do you plan to do this? So you get a sense from them. You do a scaling on a scale of 1 to 10. Where do you think you are in terms of dying by suicide? So if the person says a 5 and 5 upwards, we know we have to do something about this. But well, I was about to say remember, but not remember. Be aware that when the person comes into therapy, you would say to them, whatever you share with me in this space remains confidential,
Yes.
except under the following conditions. You're harming yourself, you're planning on harming somebody else, or somebody is harming you, or there is harm, any form of harm. I cannot keep that a secret.
Right.
Right? I must say it to somebody else. I must get help for you.
Shelly, what's your thoughts on that? The suicide and also address, Nia is saying, address the issue where people say suicide is selfish. It's a selfish act.
No, it's not a selfish act. This person is in such emotional pain and they find themselves in I like to term it as a box. You find yourself in a dark box where you don't see nowhere out of the situation that you're in. Yes? And you feel lost, hopeless, helpless, the feelings of being a burden to others. And these feelings come about when you don't, when we take time that is in taking care of our needs. That's self-care, checking in with ourselves and being intentional that we outlined earlier. When we stop take care of us and the problems, we start to focus more on the problems, more on the negative, more on the dark thoughts, more on giving up. You start, your behavior start to show that hopeless, helpless, being a burden. You isolate yourself from others. Yes, you say, well, maybe everyone will be happy when I'm gone, right? These sort of thoughts start to pop in your head and you start to stay on these thoughts. Thoughts, I like to say, are like bubbles. We sitting out here and a lot of things just popping in our mind. And as soon as it pops out and something just pop, right? So in our thoughts now, we have to be intentional to keep the thoughts that are positive and thoughts that we can control. And those thoughts that are negative and that we don't have control over, let go. Let it go. And be on the positive. But that is intentional and you can get there with a lot of help. Also, you start to behave in a risky manner, more alcohol use, driving recklessly, drug use, everything, you're giving away possessions. It's a lot, and this person is crying out for help. The person who takes their own life shows signs of crying out for help in the beginning, but we didn't pay attention. We, the loved ones, we didn't pick up on the signs because we didn't know what the signs were. Hence the reason this platform is to educate. So we need to pay attention to our loved ones. If you notice that your loved ones normally go to work and they engage in, and you know even if they're happy, and sometimes when they're sad, yes, they're sad, but they're connected with the family, they're together with everyone. And then suddenly you see a behavior change, and you find that behaviors start to go on a downward slope. And it's persistent over a period of time. This is where we need to pay attention and check in and be there. Let the person know who are feeling that way. Let them know that you are concerned and that you're
Yes.
here to support them. This is not a time when you tell them, well, you don't have to feel that way. Don't feel. You can't tell somebody how to feel.
Yes.
And this is a narrative that we have to change too, because that's my feelings. That's how I'm feeling at the moment. This is
Right.
what I'm experiencing, and it's okay to feel sad.
Yes.
It's okay to feel angry.
Yes.
When I watch, okay, so if I could just use the illustration of a child, yes, right? So the child start to act up and show anger and aggression. Yes. Oh, we might, the normal response of a parent or so is that the child being rude,
Yeah.
right? And we start to teach this child that it's not normal to be angry. So you can hold your anger inside. We have to let them know that if your child is angry, right, they do not know how to process the emotions that is triggering this anger. Something is triggering these feelings. So we have to find out what is the trigger, what is happening in the internal mind of the child or the individual that is bringing out these feelings, right? And when we could get to that space and help them process it, and then teach them how to manage it, how to cope with it, and how to go through it, learn from it, and grow from it.
Yeah, it is so important. I'm learning so much, guys. And again, we have two licensed clinical psychologists and and licensed counseling psychologists here on the program, and they're based in Grenada, guys. And I'm going to give you guys their contact, because I think the big part about this is following up and checking up on people. I remember during COVID, I get a call, and being in the media circuit, we get calls all the time. Myself, my producer Lynn, sometimes we get calls 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the night, right? I remember getting a call during COVID at about 2 o'clock in the morning. And this young man was angry and upset because he felt like he had COVID. And he was saying, you know what, George, you're the last person I'm going to talk to about this. But there was a guy who upset me a couple of days ago, and I feel I have COVID, and I feel I'm going to die from it, so I'm going to go and deal with it, and I'm going to finish it all off. And he was telling me these things, right? And I had to sit on the phone with this man for like about 2.5 hours, just telling him there's more to life. I found out that he had a child, a 6-year-old girl, and we was talking about his life and all he had to live for. And at the end of it, I got him to calm down. And up to this day, we follow up with the young man. We check in with the young man. And he's not the only one. We get calls all the time. So sometimes we have to be friends. We have to be our brother's keeper, right? And we have to check in. It's very, very important. Not because you feel like somebody have it all or somebody is the life of the party. Check in, make that call, because you never know, somebody might be going through something and you might be the savior that they need at this point in time. And
Yes.
it's
Junior?
important that you say that.
And you also have to.
Junior,
Oh,
can
sorry.
can I just
Yeah.
add? So I just wanted to say, based on what you just said, I just wanted to say two things. One, we try not to be afraid about asking people, listeners, about suicide. If you notice that you're seeing a difference in the behavior, asking somebody if they considering harming themselves clearly, plainly,
Yeah.
openly will not give them the idea of harming
Okay.
themselves.
He might start the conversation.
It may start the conversation, okay? And the other thing that you just talk about, being our brother's keeper, I endorse this. And we shouldn't sometimes be our brother's keeper. We should be our brother's
All the
keeper
time,
all
yeah.
the time. However, I cannot rescue somebody who is not willing to participate in their own rescue.
Yes. True.
Does that make sense
Yes.
to you? Right. What does that look like? So Shelley may be presenting, and I'm seeing the difference in the family. If it's a family member or one of my friends, I'm seeing the isolation. I'm seeing all of the things that we spoke about earlier on, right? And I raise it. And the person may say, no, 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 no. They would, shrug it off. Or I may present the person with the resources. So here is a number, here is somebody, and whatever. And when it comes to us as practitioners, we cannot do therapy with our
Right.
families. We can do therapy with our families. We cannot do therapy with people we have any sort
And
of
of course, you
relationship
cannot
with.
diagnose yourself.
No.
And we cannot,
Yeah.
right? So we know something is happening. Like Shelley said, there are times Shelley would call and she'd bounce things off of me. And I need to call somebody and bounce it. Hello, we're people. We're human
Yeah.
beings, real human beings, having real human experiences, real human emotions, right? So we depend on each
Yes.
other, right? So when it comes to, sometimes I look at the lives and I look at some of the comments, oh, and this person ain't doing nothing, and look, they didn't do anything. But the person has to be ready. They have to be
Yeah.
willing to
But the
do
only
it.
the other thing to not to cut your trend of thought, but I have to say this: if your cup is not full, if your cup is empty,
Right.
it'd be very difficult to help that person. So it's important to who you share your story with as well, because someone who is not on that wavelength may not give you the appropriate advice. So it's not everybody you could
Right.
talk to.
Right.
That's
And
right.
if I could just jump in here, right? Because what the illustration you shared, the experience you shared, Junior, the listening, you see, listening without judgment,
Yes.
right? It can help reduce the shame the person may feeling about their suicidal thoughts. Sometimes you feel embarrassed, look at me. I graduate top of my class, I have this big job, and but yet I'm feeling so depressed, and everybody's saying, well, I shouldn't feel that way. So they make these type of statements that cause you to feel further shame.
Right.
If we have loved ones going through these things, we need to listen to understand without judgment, right? Try to
Yeah.
understand what led them to feel this way. So you're making statements like, "Wow, that sounds really tough." This must be really
Yeah.
difficult for you. You notice I'm not judging.
Yeah.
You're allowing the person to process through their sharing while you're listening to understand the pain or the hurt that they're going through presently. And then you encourage them to get professional help. Tell them you understand you're in pain, and then as Nicole rightly shared, you give them the options other than suicide. Who to go to. Bring You could even go with them. Sometimes you need that extra support,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? To
Yeah.
go and get the help that they need, right? In addition to that, you cannot pour, as you say, from an empty cup,
Yes.
right? So the self care, coming back to Nicole jersey, I want a jersey too, and Nicole. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Me too.
Oh, I created my t-shirt. Thank you very
Don't worry. We
much.
could print. We
right.
could print some here. We could print some here. I think we could start something. We could start.
Okay.
Yes,
And then
yes.
you'll send one for me
You
again.
cannot pour from an empty cup,
True.
If
True.
it is that I'm in a low place,
Yeah.
even in the field that I'm in, if I'm in a low space, I cannot go and provide help, therapeutic help in my profession. I have to
Yeah.
fill my cup. My
Yes.
cup must be full. I must be in a space where I am calm to be able to effectively bring help to someone.
Yeah.
If your cup is empty, meaning that your needs, your emotional and mental health needs are unmet, right? You could cause further harm. And in our profession, do no harm.
Yeah. That's why I
So,
take so much
Yeah.
vacation. That's why I take so much vacation. Everybody's like, okay, you on vacation again. The truth about it
yes,
is, I have to fill my cup, because when I come here, or if I get a
Yeah.
call, I can't say, man, you see, I going through so much problems, I can't talk to you right now. I tell
right.
you, we don't
Yeah.
take calls all over the night. I had to be ready. I feel like I'm always working.
And that's where this B word that I love so much comes in. Boundaries.
Yeah.
It's okay to set boundaries for yourself. Know when to say no. It's okay to say no. If you
Right.
reach the limit, okay, I cannot facilitate at this time. I'll be available at a time that you know you're able to fulfill or facilitate at that time,
Right.
right? So
Right.
knowing your limitations, being intentional with your self-care, checking in with yourself, checking in with those around you, it is a continuous thing, because every day is different challenges, different difficulties. It's different. The world is evolving and changing, and so many things that could trigger, you to be in a low space or in a sad space or even a happy space. So you need to pay attention to ourselves and to those around us.
And you're coming in, but I
Junior,
want you to
can I
also
just
talk about Nicole. I want you to talk about this as well. Social media and how social
yeah,
media is putting pressure on
yeah,
people by what they see.
right.
They see somebody like they reaching up in life. You become envious and you become frustrated and depressed because you feel like your life ain't going nowhere. So go ahead.
Right. So I wanted to say shame dies when stories are shared in safe
Nice. That is a
places.
shot again. That is a whole shot. That is a whole shot. I'm doing that shot
The
Listen,
next
tomorrow.
you have
t-shirt.
to give me
You, are
you have to give me some
you
credit,
getting
okay? So
credit?
we would share the
Yes.
royalties.
Every day I get up, I write. If you check my page, every day I get up, I write something inspirational because it makes me
Right.
feel
Yeah.
good. I know it makes other people feel good. So all of this stuff is stuff that is good stuff. Good stuff for tomorrow. But go ahead.
Right. So shame dies when stories are told in
Yeah.
safe places. So as therapists, we hold the space for you. Non-judgmental spaces,
Yes.
right? We hold for you. Um, I just wanted to add again in terms of getting the help, we cannot underestimate the role of the church in this process. The church has a role, but the question on the floor to me is about social media. Now, Junior, we have become a people of hype over substance.
Aha.
So if you, I'm not seeing how many people are on the live now, but the other day when you had the live about some whoever nation, um, I saw the live went up to 4 point something K. But tonight we're talking about mental health, which affects each and every one of us. Where are
Yes.
we? Where are these
Yes.
people? So it's hype over
And
substance. Whereas,
after that live, people had the nerve to go and say all of the talk about is drama. And when I bring programs like this, they don't come, they don't watch, they don't share.
right,
Not all of them,
right.
but some of them.
So remember, I said again, another
Uh-huh.
t-shirt. We can't rescue somebody who's not willing to participate in their own
True.
rescue, right? So in social media, there is the hype you asked about the jealousy and the whatever, and they have the YOLO and you only live once, and I'm living my best life. Okay, so they go and they drink and all the drinks, and they post on Instagram and they post there and they post here. Things that are exacerbating the current issues that they're having. Or Junior, they might be using the drinks and so to help cope, right, with what they're experiencing. But if you only live once, we only get a chance at life once, you know. So part of self-care and living my best life is taking care of my
Yeah.
mental health. So living my best life is not about posting pictures on Facebook and Instagram to show that I've gone so many places or whatever. But then when I get back home, it's me and my
Yeah.
thoughts. And I still have to deal with the thoughts of suicide, the feelings of this and that and the other. In terms of social media, again, oh my goodness gracious. Like everybody has an
Yes.
opinion, nobody has a
Yes. True.
responsibility. So it's my life. And so under the live or under the news or whatever, you would see, oh God, some of the things that people write and post about others, you don't know what a person is going
True.
through. And they say so many derogatory
Yeah.
things about people or people's
Yeah.
family. Or, Junior, there is a murder, there is a suicide, there is some sort of thing that is the hype, and they're posting it on their status. I mean, what kind of person are
Yeah.
you to be posting these things on your wall as your WhatsApp status, as your story? Well, I'm not on Instagram or whatever it is. What kind of person are you? How will you treat with this if it was a member
Family,
of
yeah,
your
that's true.
family or somebody you love? So it's just about hype. It's just to say, I posted it first. I see it on Junior George or whatever. Hello, we're real people with feelings and families and things impact
Yes.
us. So these social media, the media has to be responsible in the way they
Yes.
report. Oh, this one commit suicide and giving all the gory
Yeah.
details about
Yeah.
it. And then if somebody dies by suicide today and they want to bring the news broadcast or
Yeah.
whatever, they will go back to somebody who died by suicide how long ago and show over everything
Yeah.
again. Hello, these people's families are looking at
True.
the news
True.
as well. And there is re-traumatizing and trauma on top of trauma and
That's
trauma.
important, and you know, for me, right? Because I am in a position where, you know, I'm in media. I have to deal with a lot of stuff, but I think we develop a system, right, where there's a filter process because I don't get fed everything, right? I have my producer Lois JJ. Oftentimes she might see something and she said, "Don't look at that," because she know what I don't like to look at, right? And she might filter it, and she might figure that I don't need to see this and I could just go about my day. So we have a nice system. So I
Right,
don't get to see everything.
right,
I don't get to handle all the issues. I don't get to handle all the problems.
right.
But me personally, I have to keep my mental state because I think I have a responsibility to help
Right.
people, to give people a good
Yeah,
feeling. And that is worth a
yeah,
lot to a lot of people. People feel depressed when Ride Along is not on. And I think it's my responsibility or responsibility to do so.
yeah.
You know, anything else you want to add, Shelley? Shelley and Nicole. Earlier you were saying, "Whoa, we had to chat for an hour." Nicole, you realize we chat for over an hour already. You know, time. What a
Yeah,
whole hour!
well,
I tell you, time does fly.
yeah. But you're doing a good job in keeping it like conversational, and then people need to see the like how we could make the
Yes.
application of this information, and people need to be able to see, okay, this is how it's impacting. This is my role because each of us has a role. If none of us posts, if none of us takes our anger or what we feel into social media about another person, a lot of contributing factors would be
Right.
less, right? We have to get back to the place where we care about people and stop this thing about, long ago this and long ago this is modern times. But yes, we could take the good and leave the things that are changing us as a people. We're known to be caring people. We're known to be respectful people. And we have to be able to hold the space for each
Nice,
other.
nice, nice. Shelley, any?
Hi, I'm here. Tell me.
Anything else you want to add? Because we are at that point in time there that my producer is going to start giving me a nudge and say we gotta wrap it. And people are calling back for a part two. So I think this is something that we need to re-engage on and come back, because what I plan to do is to create an environment in the Caribbean where we could have people come and talk about their experiences and kind of like a mentorship program. So, I want people to have free space to talk about their problems, and that's something that we promoted at the beginning of the year that we're going to initiate sometime later in August. But yes, so any closing words you want to add before we wrap it up for today?
Okay, just want to encourage everyone, be intentional in taking care of you, right? Because when you take care of you could effectively take care of others. Manage your space, your time on social media, because it is addictive. And remember, your validation must come from you and not from others. Yes?
Right.
So if we don't learn to love ourselves, to take care of ourselves, love who we are as an individual, just the way God created you to be, right? You will seek validation from others. And when you don't get it, it causes you to get into a slump. So learn to love yourself. The same Bible says that, to love God with everything, and to love your neighbor just as you love yourself. So we can't care for others, we can't be kind to others, we can't do good to others if it is we're not kind, self-compassionate, and treating ourselves in a good way.
Yeah, and my mantra, I live by this: expect. I appreciate everything. Expect nothing. I don't expect anything. I appreciate everything that comes my way. That's how I live.
Yes.
Words to live by.
Accept your flaws, accept your good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
beautiful,
yeah.
you matter, you are enough, your best is good enough.
That's right. That's right. So, Nicole.
Right. So, Junior, I want to thank you on behalf of Grenada for using your platform in this way to give us the space that we could have healthy conversations like these, right? Now, I want to encourage us to be more proactive than reactive. So, right now, everybody is up in arms about depression and suicide because we've had that. One death is too
Yes.
many. Issues of mental health, we need to talk about it every single
Yes.
day,
Great.
right? Nobody gets overwhelmed with the jam and wine and the juke day and this, that, and what and what and what. Let's make this a part of our conversation. Talk about it daily. There are trained people in Grenada. We have to change the way we speak about us. Almost all secondary schools, almost not all, has a trained counselor up to master's degree level, most of us. And for the primary schools, they are in districts and they have people going to them. They do not have resident counselors at the primary level. At the schools, mental health is spoken about, conflict management, whatever the topics are, right? They're spoken about. Oh, I'm losing charge. Let me
Yeah,
just
no
plug in,
problem.
right? Right. All of these things are spoken of in the school. I want to say to the public, I want to say to our people, you matter. We need you. You have a purpose. You were created for a purpose. Whatever you're going through right now, there are spaces and places and people who would hold you in warm regard and will not judge you and would give you the help that you need. And when we can't provide that help for you, we make the referrals to other people we know would be able to help you. And I want to leave you by saying again, self-care is the best care, and let us hold ourselves in warm regard.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, guys, Shelly Ann Mason Lewis, she's a licensed counseling psychologist in Grenada. And of course, not forgetting Nicole Brenda Lee Johnson James, who is a licensed clinical and community psychologist. Women, I am so proud. I am so proud that we have two, and there are many more, two professionals like yourself that are doing this job in Grenada. People used to say, well, we don't have none, but obviously they haven't been looking in the right places. This is just two, and there are more, right? Licensed clinical psychologists, licensed counseling psychologists, and they are accessible and available. Where could people reach out to you guys in case and when? I know they do. A lot of people need the assistance. So how could they reach out to either one of you guys?
Okay, so you want to go, Shelly?
Shelly,
Go
you
ahead.
first?
Yes, my office is based at Fit for Life Medical Center in Granance. That's opposite Excel Plaza. So it's by appointment only. So just call in,
What's the
come
number?
in. I don't have it off my head, but
Okay,
I will
I'll
not
post it. I'll
give you
post
the
it in the
details.
chat. Yeah, I'll post it in the
Yes,
chat.
On Facebook, there is a page.
Mm-hmm.
Fit for Life has a page that has contact information, and also I also have a page called Solace License Counseling Services on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram, Solace Grenada. So you can check. I put posted, but I'm not a media addict.
Right.
So just come in, make an appointment, and I'll make myself available.
That is lovely. That is lovely. And Nicole?
Right. So, Junior, I'm Child Community Outreach and Therapy Services, and I can be reached at 417-2648. And for appointments, right? But I'm going to send you my e-card, and you could post it on your page as
Absolutely,
well.
absolutely. Guys,
Okay?
even me, right, would come and chat with you guys, because oftentimes, you know, I do feel a sense of anxiety. I know I'm all right. Well, I don't know that I'm all right. I always need to check up and make sure my mental state is all right. So I'm not claiming to be a big man. I don't need the services. I absolutely do, and I encourage people to do the same as well. They're never too big, and you want to keep your mental state in check. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you. Licensed clinical psychologist and licensed counseling psychologist in Grenada. I'm going to post all the information. We'll keep in touch, ladies. Really, really proud of you guys. Thanks again.
Thank you, Junior. Thank you. And be safe. Hold yourself in warm regard.
Thank you. Hold
Thank you.
yourself in warm regard. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. Guys, you see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about, right? And I want all it to be ammunition for me now. I want all it to be ammunition for me. Guys, we do fundraisers. We do programs like this. We do immigration stuff, right? And some people have the nerve of telling you that is what does annoy me the most, you know. That is what does really fret me. I mean, I don't get anxiety over it. I don't get depressed over it. But it upsets me. People need to take in this type of information and not run to social media and jump and say what they don't know. This type of program is the program that people have to pay attention to, not the bacchanal all you like so much. Not all you know. I ain't talking about all you. I'm talking about them. I go watch it after, glimpse at it after. All you like too much bacchanal. Yeah, man. Lynn, don't worry. I ain't getting depressed over it. But they like too much bacchanal. They like too much bacchanal. Gotta take a quick commercial break. Before I get anxiety if my sponsors drop me. I don't want my sponsors to drop me. I don't want to get anxiety over it. Let's take a quick break, guys. We'll be right back.
What do you know? The NLA is giving you an additional chance at winning in its Crazy Cash Second Chance Parish Giveaway. Yes! Starting June 10th, enter your non-winning Daily Cash 4, Daily Pick 3, or Playway tickets valued at $12 or more in a single purchase for a chance to win over $25,000 in cash. Be sure to write your name, address, and contact info on your entries before dropping them in the NLA branded box at your favorite authorized agent. Draws will be conducted every Friday starting June 23rd to July 21st, 2023 for every parish. That's a total of 105 draws of $250 each. Promotion ends July 14th, 2023. Must be 18 or older to participate. Other terms and conditions apply. NLA, making your dreams come true.
Yes, Grenada, get ready for the event of the year. The Technology and Innovation Expo 2023 is coming to the Trade Center, Monroe St. George, on Friday, 4th August. Immerse yourself in a world of limitless possibilities where technology and innovation collide. Join us as we bring together the brightest minds and groundbreaking inventions under one roof. You'll experience firsthand the advancements that are shaping our world, from innovative products and services to artificial intelligence and virtual reality. This event would be the hub of transformative ideas, emerging trends, and platforms for startups, to the showcasing of innovations, forging partnerships, and unlocking new opportunities. Save the date, Friday, 4th August 2023 at the Trade Center, Monroe St. George. Don't miss out on this opportunity to witness the future come to life. The Technology and Innovation Expo 2023. Call us on 456 437-1568 or email CaribbeanCodingAcademy@gmail.com to secure your spot. See you at the expo.
Yeah. Guys, Ride Along Live is brought to you by Amazing Colors. Play Monday Night Mass with Amazing Colors. Because why? It is so amazing.
Move, read, mud, bud. It goes like that. I play no wicked job. I play no wicked job. I play no wicked job. They go off to say I'm mad. I play no wicked job. I play no wicked job. I play no wicked job. They go off to say I'm all your come, all your jump, all your wave, all your.
Spice Alcohol Grenada. Join us every Sunday at 7 p.m. Grenadian time for our weekly educational program on Grenada's history, heritage, and culture. Stream live on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Island Learning Grenada.
The NLA is giving you more chances to multiply your Playway winnings by adding Multi-X to your regular Playway bets to win up to 5 times more. Imagine winning as much as $1,200 instead of $240 with a $10 Playway bet by simply adding Multi-X. Place your Playway bets from $1 to $10 or in increments on your favorite Playway symbols or numbers. Then add the Multi-X option at the same value to win 2 times, 3 times, 5 times more, or free plays. With Multi-X, you must bet the same amount wagered on your regular Playway bets for your winnings to be multiplied. Grenadians, value your dreams and win your way as much as 5 times more with Multi-X added to Playway and watch your money grow. Must be 18 years or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
Ride Along Live is brought to you by the CSEC. And of course, guys, by Mr. Akel John, BSc is the John Online Education, guys. Service offered, classes from 4 and from 5, students and adults. Register July and May semester, it's only $100, 250 TT or $38 US. Contact 473-425-2132. That's on WhatsApp, or 473-404-9836 by cell, or online at johnslineedu.com. More information, guys, you could call on WhatsApp. Classes from 4 and from 5, students and adults. Live, fun, attractive, and interactive classes. It's a custom CSEC syllabus. Check them out today. Also, guys, Ride Along Live is brought to you by the new political party, new political organization. It's the CHGCP. In God We Trust. They say for the people, by the people, guys. And they just did a really nice food drive to send food back to Grenada. So big up to the CHGCP. Change hope for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Guys, in Grenada, wow, we having a boat ride. Celebrity Cruise is back, Grenada. Celebrity Cruise is back. Celebrity Cruise is back. It's Carnival Sunday, Spice Mass Edition. It's the sexy edition. It's Sunday, August 13th, aboard the Empress. Brand new ship, the Empress. Get your tickets right now at celebritycruise.eventbrite.com. That's celebritycruise.eventbrite.com. Hey, big up to Kem Jones having a big appreciation party, big appreciation carnival edition. Get your tickets right now at ridebuy.com. Go to ridebuy.com and get your tickets. Music by Solid Band and Select the Beast on the inside. Remember, guys, you play Monday Night Mass and playing Monday Night Mass with who? Amazing Colors. Powering up our carnival season. Big up to Mr. Killer, guys. Mr. Killer and his Mr. Killer VIP package in Amazing Colors. Mr. Killer VIP package in Amazing Colors. Monday Night Mass with a difference. This is Ride Along Live on behalf of all of our production team here at Ride Along Live. Lois JJ, our senior executive producer, and the whole team moderating team, we say good night, ciao, catch you guys again tomorrow.